All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening. We got the NVIDIA earnings call. NVIDIA pumping up to 170s right now. Calls or puts. As we do, we are going to put a. We are going to do a few polls here and on Twitter. There we go. We got music playing. Let me know how the sound is. Earnings report is going to go live soon. We do have NVIDIA popping up some. Hey, what's up, Kim? Good morning, or good evening, man. I'm used to doing these in the morning, but NVIDIA earnings are big. All right, got some caffeine. Yeah, so we have the NVIDIA earnings call. The earnings are actually released at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the actual full earnings call is going to be later. Full earnings call is going to be streamed live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see the NVIDIA chart. We also have Bed Bath back up to 1030s. Hey, what's up, Eric? What's up, Kim, Liana? All right, and again, we're going to do our Twitter poll. It's time. NVIDIA earnings. All right, team. We're going to do a poll here. First of one is going to be on Twitter. Bull or bear on NVIDIA earnings? Calls or puts? You can always join us here as well. We're also going to do another poll. What's up, DS? Bullish or bearish on NVIDIA earnings? It is, just to put it into perspective, Q2 earnings for NVIDIA. Q2 earnings. And yeah. All right, guys, getting everything up here. How did calls or puts? We got a couple hours until the actual earnings call. Y'all do me a favor, hit the like button as well to bump these views up if you can. We do have our Twitter poll right here, but you can also just vote right here if you want. Give me a follow on Twitter if you could take the time. There is the link there, and we're also going to do a poll. Bull or bear on NVIDIA Q2 earnings. There's the link there. We're also going to post it to our Discord as we do. I can pull my Discord up. NVIDIA up to 170s. We're starting the stream a little bit early, as we like to for these earnings calls. There we go. This might be the worst NVIDIA earnings in a while. Crypto plunge. Gamers got no money. Having a GPU is a luxury. Also, we have the ETH merge coming up pretty soon at the beginning of next month, they think. And I think when that happens, that's gonna hurt a lot of the mining purchasers, miners as a whole, and that's gonna certainly reflect negatively on NVIDIA. Also, just another dynamic to it. Still, I like NVIDIA long term. I believe in them as a company long term. I think they're a really solid company. Outside of anything else, regardless of their dependence on mining. So yeah, what's up, Tiny? Yeah, man, it's been raining hard on my end, man. It's been raining hard. Bed Bath is starting to pop back up. Dipped a little bit after the open. Starting to run back up some lately. So we'll see if it actually holds. Here's the SPY. SPY up to 413s. So we're watching that also. All right, guys. Hey, what's up, Pawn? Hey, thank you, Anthony. Listen, I will agree that I'm a beautiful man. I mean, let's just be honest here. I'm definitely top 3. No, I truly appreciate it. Thank you, man. Air show right outside your house. So that sounds like good, man. No, you weren't. I did. Honestly, I just read your comment, Anthony. This is the first time I read your comment, and you got my immediate reaction with what I just said. So, not uncomfortable at all, sir. I appreciate it. I mean, let's be honest. I look good, and we all know it here. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I appreciate it, sir. What's up, Tiny? How's everyone? We're good, man. Like I said, got some health stuff going on. That's what I was kind of explaining to Douglas. Health stuff going on in my family. I don't really want to be specific. Everything's all good, but yeah, we've just been dealing with some health stuff for the last month and a half. And so for everybody that's been messaging me, if I don't get back to you right away, if I don't work on some of the, stuff, I know my man Pawn has been sending me some stuff a lot. And I just, like I said, I'll explain it one day, maybe after we figure out everything. But for now, we got some health stuff in the fam going on. Yeah, you know what, Bulldog? Hey, definitely top 3 most handsome traders in the world right now. Yeah, NVIDIA earnings. All right, so NVIDIA popping up here. Look at Bed Bath. SPY moving up as well. I'm hoping to drag some other stuff up as well. We're holding Snap, Intel currently. We're holding a few things. We're holding AMC, Ape, Bed Bath, Intel, Snap, a few other things in our investment portfolio as well. But those are our swing trades currently that we're sitting on, and we'll see how those go. Yeah, I'm going to have to get some of these Discord bots, so. I'm kind of looking at them now. Look at a SPY pump up with NVIDIA as well. We'll see how these go. Let's see what the votes. So we got 26 votes already in about 5 minutes on the NVIDIA poll on Twitter. 61.5% are calls, 38% or 38.5% are puts. So yeah, so mostly calls. NVIDIA's got mostly bulls, and the SPY is ramping up to 414s right now. Yeah, so NVIDIA up to 173s. Yeah. Here, I'll go ahead and explain it to you, Pawn. So yeah, so pump it up to 173.12s. Yeah, man, medical bills add up, especially with kids, man. SPY up to 414s, 414s. We'll see what else we got. Neo earnings aren't today. Oh yeah, you saw that, Pawn, dude. My dogs are spoiled, bro. This is what I made my dogs here. You know, if anybody saw in the everything else section of our Discord, this is what I made my dogs for lunch. Carol's just rest because Carol's got some health stuff going on. But this is what I made my dogs. You know, they have basically dog food right here, and then these are duck jerky. These are little rib things that doggy treats, and then this is like some type of dried duck and beef shredded on top of it, mixed with like an egg. You know, so like that is my dog's meals today, bro. I'm telling you, they're so spoiled right now. My dogs are so spoiled. You know, you're bearish. We'll buy the dip. Yeah, if we dip heavy, then we're gonna buy this. This is gonna impact the entire market, though. So NVIDIA earnings are gonna impact the entire market. STBX just dumped down to it, just didn't succeed. Intel pump it up though. Q pump it up. SPY pump it up as well. Look at the SPY up to like 414s right now. 414s. Yeah, they eat good, man. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Yeah, so 173s for NVIDIA here. The high of the day is right around 174, just under 174. All right, guys. So let's see what we get. Again, the NVIDIA poll. It's got almost 50 votes on it already, about 10 minutes. 56.5% are calls. So we're pretty split. We're more split than normally. I would say human nature tends to show more bulls than bears in all of the polls we do. Even if you look at, or I'm looking at our stream poll here, we got 44% bullish, 56% bears. So we're actually showing more bears than bulls on the stream poll, which is actually abnormal. Most of the time, bullish optimism, reigns supreme in terms of sentiment with other people. I think most of the time when I do polls, especially with like hyped up stocks like NVIDIA and so forth, most of the time we have more bulls than bears, just because I think it's more human nature to be optimistic than it is to be pessimistic. I tend to be kind of a bear depending on what it is. With large caps, I think I tend to be more bullish, depending on the stock though. NVIDIA, I'm definitely more bullish long term, regardless of what happens in this individual earnings report. It is certainly all relevant to me because I am still holding some Intel shares. So I'm still holding some Intel shares. I'm also holding Snapchat. I'm not sure the relevancy to Snapchat, but it is tech related, and NVIDIA is certainly tech. And so we'll see what happens on that front as well, and just kind of how it translates, translates over. Y'all give me a follow on Twitter if you haven't already. Yeah, we certainly appreciate the support. And let's see what we get for NVIDIA earnings. We got 18 minutes before these numbers drop. 18 minutes. What's your play? I don't really have a play per se. I'm holding NVIDIA and Intel, So, I mean, but these are long-term investments. At least the NVIDIA one is. The Intel one's kind of a swing trade. And so, I don't really have a play except that I'm holding it long-term. And this earnings report doesn't really mean much to me since it's a long-term hold anyway. But it will affect me in terms of how Intel reacts to it, because Intel is a sympathy move to it. And so if NVIDIA has good earnings, Intel will probably rip up. If NVIDIA has bad earnings, Intel will probably drop. But again, I am actually holding NVIDIA as well, though, long term. So we'll see. Roblox. Man, Jack had the greatest. Let me see. Jack had the greatest call on Roblox ever, man. Jack called Roblox short at 80. And he was right. Look at that thing. It's down to 40 now. And Jack plays Roblox. I think he understands trends and popularity in video games. Intel's starting to pump up, though. And again, here's the Q. Up to 315s. So we're starting to see somewhat of a bullish day in the markets here. Hopefully we get some good action. Hey, what's up, Dragos? Good luck, man. Buy a dip on NVIDIA. Yeah, vote in the poll. 59% are bears right now, out of 60 votes on NVIDIA. So 59% are bearish. 57% no. Now, on our Twitter poll, it's a little bit more of swinging towards bulls. 58% are bullish with calls, they're saying, and then 42% are bearish with puts. So, yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, NVIDIA started to test highs up there. I mean, it's not quite there yet. We're still about 50 cents away, 50 to 75 cents away. But NVIDIA starting to pump up, getting closer and closer to those highs as well. The Q is up to 315.80s. So following NVIDIA, I'm sure up is what's going on here. And we still got 16 minutes. 16 minutes. And so, yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. So, yeah. We also have some other pretty big earnings today, to be honest, outside of NVIDIA. Specifically, we have, let me just go through the list. Let me just go through the list here. Well, let me go through everything here. There's a bunch of them too. What else we got? Let me see. So Earnings Whisper states, if you look at this here, so today is Wednesday. We got Snow. We've got CRM, which is Salesforce, Splunk, Williams Sonoma, Victoria's Secret, Box, Autodesk, Intap, Guess, Zora, and a lot of other ones as well, to be honest. So CRM, Snowflake. So we got a lot of big earnings today, to be honest. A lot of big earnings. We're going to cover them all here to see what we get. Should be fun regardless. All right, guys, NVIDIA pulling back to 173. We'll see if we bounce there. Again, the earnings are supposed to be released in about 13 minutes. So, yeah, we'll see what we get. Opinion on Walmart stock? I don't know. Yeah, the rest of the week should be fun. We got a lot of stuff going on. We've got the economic symposium with Jerome Powell speaking on Friday. So that'll be interesting to watch as well, to kind of see what goes down on that front too. And yeah, let me know if you're bullish or bearish on that. Because if you look at the economic calendar here, after today, we've got PCE, we've got initial jobless claims and jobless claims tomorrow. We got GDP, and a few other things tomorrow. We've got PCE Friday, disposable income Friday, consumer spending Friday, nominal personal incomes Friday, and then we have Jackson Hole, Jerome Powell speaking at the Jackson Hole conference Friday as well at 10 a.m. market time. So we got some stuff going on this week, and it's certainly going to be impactful over the markets, I think. We'll see. Again, we got about 11 minutes until the NVIDIA earnings drop, and we're going to cover it live as soon as it happens here. We're going to cover the full earnings call as well, streamed live at 5 p.m. Eastern. Again, so vote on the poll. We got 82 votes bullish or bearish on NVIDIA Q2 earnings. 52% are bullish, 48% are bearish. And so again, mostly we have bulls. Again, I think human nature tends to be more bullish, tends to be more optimistic. And so when we do these polls, by a pretty big margin, we're getting mostly bulls having more bull votes than bear votes on everything, regardless of what it is. Unless it goes to crypto. Crypto is surprisingly the other way. Most people are bearish on crypto, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what we get, All right, guys, so we're getting a pullback in NVIDIA. Look at this big dip. And so is this a foreshadow of what the earnings are actually going to be? We're down to 172.60s, 172.50s for NVIDIA. All right, down to 172.50. Let's see if we bounce there. All right, guys, so we're at 172.70s for NVIDIA, 172.70s. All right, guys. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. I'm using Earnings Whisper mostly. Like the beats. Nordstrom failed. Yeah, Nordstrom, man, they just had bad guidance. That's what got Nordstrom, is that their guidance numbers were worse than expected. They had a beat on everything, but they had much lower guidance than initially expected, and that's really what tackled Nordstrom down. All right, guys. All right, we're up to 173s here, almost 173s for NVIDIA. We also have a double bottom here on the Q, which I think is relevant to watch. There's 315s, 25s. Yeah, we'll see. Again, vote of the poll. We're pretty split on the poll here. We got 51% bulls, 49% bearish. On our Twitter poll, we have 57% bull, 43% bearish. How did Ape end up doing today? All right, so Ape is still all right. AMC's consolidating sideways as well. Snapchat's starting to look better here. That's good. Again, it's all going to depend on what happens for NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA is going to impact everything. We got 3 minutes here. The NVIDIA earnings are actually set to drop exactly at 4:20. And so they're not going to come out for about another 20 minutes, it looks like, which is okay. We got time. And again, they got a lot of other stuff dropping after that. The NVIDIA earnings are supposed to drop at 4:20, everybody's favorite time. So we'll see what we get. Everybody's mad about the student loan forgiveness thing, but to be honest, student loans are incredibly predatory, man. Incredibly predatory. Like, they're loaning the young people tons of money, and then they're getting mad, and then they're basically making it unforgivable if you don't pay it back. You have to basically pay it back all your life, no matter what. It's just a ridiculous thing, you know. And to be honest, everybody shouldn't go to college. Like, everybody, I understand the standard of like, hey, everybody go to college now. Go to college. There's a lot of skills that you would be surprised that do not need you to go to college. Like, as a programmer, you don't need to go to college. You know, programming is very much one of those careers where, yeah, if you go to college, you'll make more money. You'll have an easier time getting your foot in the door at the start. But by a big margin, if you know how to code, you know how to code, right? And so if you have an equal amount of experience relative to college, you can still get a job. And if you know how to code, you know how to code. And if you can answer their questions and their quizzes when you get interviewed, you can get a job as a programmer making $50,000 plus a year. And a lot of programmers actually go to boot camps nowadays. I'm not saying college, you shouldn't go to college. If you have the means to do so, great. But what I'm saying is, like, everybody shouldn't be going to college. And I think everybody sets the standard of you should go to college, you should go to college. But again, I think we're just kind of repeating that over and over again. And I don't think everybody's meant for that. It has nothing to do with intelligence. Just has, people are smart and, excel at different things outside of that. And a lot of the degrees nowadays are just worthless anyway. Business degree, it depends. There can be some business degrees, but a lot of them are useless. Like an entrepreneurial degree is useless. Journalism really won't get you that far unless you have like a very specific thing you want and you get really, really lucky. And so it's just kind of like most of it is just nonsense, and so you're just paying money, getting yourself in debt for nothing. And of course, psychology degree, unless you're getting your master's, isn't really worth anything. So it really just depends. Oh, college helps a lot for sure, 100%. I mean, I'm biased because I'm a React developer and I didn't go to college to be one. And so I do React Native mostly, and I taught myself with some online boot camp, and know how to code. I can code some stuff. And so again, college, if somebody goes to a boot camp versus somebody goes to college, the person that goes to boot camp is going to understand it far better if they spend an equal amount of time at a boot camp versus the college. So somebody that goes to a boot camp for 6 months is going to be able to just out program somebody in laps, somebody that goes to college for 6 months in programming or computer science. You know what I mean? So it's just, at a certain point, it's just big institutions want money, and they don't want to say, hey, it's probably not the best to do so. And it's just us having the standard of everybody needs to go to college, and that's kind of affecting it as well. AMC pumping up, though. AMC up to 960s. NVIDIA dipping down a little bit. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes until the closing bell. At the closing bell, we're going to have a few earnings that drop. We're going to specifically have CRM drop at 405, Snow drop at 405, Splunk drop at 4, Williams-Sonoma drop at 415, Victoria's Secret dropping at 415, Autodesk at 4, Box Incorporated at 405. We got NetApp, NTAP at 4, Zora at 4. And that's basically it. We got a few other ones, but those are the big ones. NVIDIA is not set to drop until 420, but it might drop earlier than that. We'll have to wait and see what we get. Angular is 100x better than React. Well, that's a subjective thing. Yeah, for sure, Anthony. I could understand that. Yeah, 100%. I understand the frustration behind it. But I think if we're going to spend our tax dollars in anything, whenever we spend tons of wasteful money in taxes, then I think it might as well be for something that's useful, like getting young people out of debt, because they're going to help build the country anyway, But again, it's subjective, I guess. And it's all good either way. Anyway, so yeah, we got 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, about a minute and a half. A minute and a half until this drops. Snap at 1080s. We got Intel pumping up to almost $34. We'll see if it breaks. But yeah, about 10 minutes. Yeah, NVIDIA earnings are today. It's at 420. All right, NVIDIA dipping down. Less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute before the closing bell. And again, we do have NVIDIA dropping today. Right at the closing bell, though, we're going to have a list of a few different ones dropping. Specifically, we're going to have CRM dropping at 405, Snowflake dropping at 405, Splunk dropping at 4. So SPLK is dropping their earnings right at the close. So let's watch this one's reaction. This isn't really a company I'm super familiar with, but they do drop their numbers right at the closing bell. So we'll see what we get here for SPLK. Pretty big company. Sounds like a Nickelodeon slime. But it's a data platform that powers enterprise observability and unified security and limitless custom applications in hybrid environments. Okay, so it's a software company. All right, so let's watch SPLK. Their numbers are supposed to come out. NVIDIA numbers haven't come out yet. There's 110s for SPLK. We also have Snow and a few other ones dropping. Again, we're watching NVIDIA to see what happens because they could really come anytime after the close. All right, we're at 172.30s. SPLK is at 110.30s. Yeah, we're going to be covering CRM. We're going to be covering CRM, Snow. All the earnings that drop, we're going to be covering. All the big ones, which includes that one for sure. Salesforce numbers are supposed to come out in 5 minutes at 4:05, but they could effectively get dropped any time here. I just don't see them. If you guys see them out, let me know. NVIDIA's not out yet. CRM ain't out yet with theirs. SNO is not out with theirs either. SPLK is supposed to come out with theirs right now, though. They're supposed to be the first ones to drop. We also have ADSK, Autodesk. The Autodesk is out with theirs. They dropped revenue, increased 70% to 100.237 million. GAAP operating margins up 20%. So we'll get the ADSK, which is Autodesk. Autodesk showed second quarter EPS of 85 cents, second quarter revenue of 1.248. So Autodesk is out with theirs. ADSK. And again, Autodesk showed second quarter EPS of 85 cents, second quarter revenue of 1.24 billion, second quarter adjusted EPS of 1.65. Here is Autodesk. So we're just going to put them up as we get them here. We're just going to put them up as we get them. There's Autodesk right there. NVIDIA's not out with theirs yet, but there's Autodesk right there. Their numbers are out. Autodesk showed, we got some guidance numbers showing up for Autodesk as well. They saw fiscal year adjusted EPS at 652, adjusted EPS at 671. Third quarter EPS, it came in at 90 cents versus 96 cents expected. So lower than expected in terms of third quarter EPS. Third quarter adjusted EPS came at 166 versus 172. Third quarter adjusted EPS 166 versus adjusted EPS of 172. Fiscal year EPS at 340 versus 359, so lower than expected on all, like in both guidance as well. But they did beat for both second quarter EPS and sales. Looking for CRM dropping their numbers in about 3 minutes for CRM. No reaction for CRM yet. We also have Splunk. Oh wait, CRM just moved here. I don't think they're out yet, though. I don't see anything for CRM yet. NVIDIA definitely hasn't dropped theirs yet. Again, they're supposed to come out at 420 for NVIDIA. So nothing yet for these. Bear with us. We're going to cover them as soon as we get them. Splunk, SPLK, are late. They were supposed to come out at 4. So we got about a minute and a half before we get CRM numbers. And we got a lot of other numbers dropping then as well. We got SNOW, CRM. A lot of other ones dropping at 4, but the big ones are CRM and Snow dropping at about a minute and a half. But yeah, so far the only one we really have is Autodesk. And they're gapping up nicely from this. Look at Autodesk run. They're up to 226.90s here for ADSK. 226.90. So Autodesk is popping. NVIDIA drops theirs in about 17 minutes to be exact, Anthony. So at least that's when the scheduled time was. It's for 420. For NVIDIA. So they're not going to drop their full earnings report until 420. And then the NVIDIA earnings call is going to be at 5 p.m. Nothing out for Splunk yet. Looking for CRM as well as SNOW. Those are both dropping their numbers today. ADSK did drop theirs and they're ramping up from it. Again, we're waiting for these numbers to come out for Q. We're gapping up a little bit in pre. All right, NVIDIA up to 172s. All right, guys, we have about 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left until we get the Snow and CRM numbers. CRM is consolidating at 180s. We got NVIDIA pumping up to about 172.20s, 172.30s. Y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Our goal is to hit 84,000 subscribers this week if we can. Still waiting for the CRM numbers, which is probably the biggest one outside of NVIDIA. Their CRM dumping down to 175 quick here. So CRM falling down fast. Again, I told you guys they were coming out at 405, and that's exactly when they dropped. Salesforce dropped second quarter adjusted EPS of 119. Second quarter revenue at 7.72 billion. They see third quarter revenue guidance at 7.82 to 7.83. And so, yeah, we got some guidance numbers coming out. Salesforce expected estimates came in at 7.7 billion and 102 estimates, and they ended up showing 119. So Salesforce came in much better than expected. NVIDIA just popped up big here. Maybe following sympathy in Salesforce, I'm guessing. But yeah, so Salesforce dropped second quarter adjusted EPS of 119. They expected 105, I believe. NVIDIA popped up. Let me make sure NVIDIA numbers aren't out, because it's certainly possible that this is just a sympathy move, and I don't see anything actually reacting. So yeah, Salesforce dropped second quarter EPS of 119, beat the 102 estimate. So that's kind of what's going on here for Salesforce. You can see that number right there at the bottom here. And again, we covered it pretty quickly before it even reacted to it, and now it's back up there. NVIDIA up to 172s. I'm pretty sure this is just reacting to Salesforce sympathy in tech for NVIDIA. But yeah, 119 revenue came in at 30.98 fiscal year guidance. What did they expect? Okay, so I don't know what the guidance expectations were for it. We'll cover that pretty soon. Let's look at Snow, SNOW. Snow came in at 70-cent loss per share for Snow. Here's Snow's EPS as well. We'll put both of these up. So there's Salesforce. Here's Snow. And the Snow expectation was for 2-cent loss per share. They ended up losing much more than that for Snow. So Snow lost 70 cents per share. They only expected 2-cent loss. Let's see what guidance shows up. But CRM dropping down here. Here's Snow. Must be up on good guidance, unless I'm missing something here. They see third quarter product revenue coming in at 500 to 505. Fiscal year 23 product revenue coming in at 1.9 to 1.91 billion. They saw third quarter revenue at 500 to 505 million for SNOW. I don't know why Snow is up though. I'm trying to see, maybe it's guidance related. Let's see if we can find another input for this. All right, so Salesforce, which is CRM, is enacting a 10 billion share buyback program. And for whatever reason, CRM is dumping down on this news. So yeah, we'll see what happens on that front. Let's look at Snow here. Look at Salesforce just tank here right now. I hope that's not a bad omen for everything else. But yeah, GAAP EPS, which is generally accepted accounting principles, is at 70-cent loss per share for Snow. Sales came in as they beat expectations. They expected 467 million. They showed 497.2 million. So CRM, we'll see. They had okay results here. I mean, I don't know what the EPS expectations were. I guess they expected 105 and they only showed, or they expected a 5-cent loss per share. But Snow is popping up. So again, for Snow, it looks like they expected 2-cent loss per share. They ended up showing 70-cent loss per share. So they expected 2 cents. They lost 70 cents. So much worse than expected. But for whatever reason, Snow is pumping up on this news. Maybe because of customers. Second quarter customers came in at 6,800 versus 6,720s. Maybe higher than expected second quarter customers. Third quarter product revenue was higher than expected. Fiscal year guidance was better. And so, again, this is something where they missed on EPS, beat on sales, but then had better guidance for Snow. And so it is ramping up big here. And again, we can see CRM. Still not sure why CRM is falling down as much as it is. Again, the only thing I can really guess here. Yeah, CRM had a beat, it looks like. So yeah, CRM beat. They came in at 119 versus 102. Their guidance came in lower than expected is what this is. They saw third quarter adjusted EPS, which is guidance, come in at 120 to 121 versus 129 expected. Sales of 7.82 to 7.83 versus 807 billion expected. So yeah, they came in much worse than expected in terms of guidance for Salesforce, and that is why they're dropping it, looks like. NVIDIA testing highs. Again, NVIDIA numbers aren't going to come out until about another 11 minutes. They're scheduled to drop at exactly 4:20 market time. But those are the numbers we have so far. NVIDIA numbers aren't out yet. They're dropping in about 10 minutes. NVIDIA started to break highs, though. Mostly probably from Snowflake here. Sympathy. Snow is up to 185s right now. 185.20s. I see you, Tiny. Have a good day. Yeah, Splunk is out, I'm pretty sure. Splunk came out at 130 versus a 35. Here's Splunk's right here. They came out... They missed. So Splunk missed. SPLK missed. They showed a 130 loss per share. They expected 35-cent loss per share. Sales beat, though, for Splunk. And they did have guidance above expectations for third quarter revenue and fiscal year 23. So I wouldn't be surprised that SPLK pushes up here, but it's not. It's down, which is surprising. Maybe it's time to buy a dip. But yeah, there's the numbers right there in chat. Again, Snow, SNOW still ramping up at 185s for Snow. 185, so big movement here. Again, good guidance. Worse EPS, sales beat, and favorable guidance is the reason SNOW is up. We have CRM, so Salesforce tanking down here on an EPS beat, but bad guidance, worse than expected guidance. Again, here is some numbers to look at in terms of Salesforce. I'm not sure if we see a rally or not for NVIDIA. No idea. We'll see. Hopefully, I hope so. I like NVIDIA, and I'm also holding NVIDIA long term, and I'm also holding Intel short term. So I hope so. You know, to be honest, I hope we do. But who knows, man? You never know. Q is looking okay. Again, we got about 8 minutes until the NVIDIA numbers. 8 minutes. Let me post this here so people see it. Let me update this banner here so people can see. There we go. Again, 420 is when the NVIDIA numbers drop. But yeah, CRM down. What's Victoria's Secret? VSCO. I don't think they're out with theirs yet. Yeah, and Victoria's Secret's not out with their numbers yet. So far, again, Snow is ramping up on good guidance. CRM is down on bad guidance. Yeah, so that's Splunk is down after a miss in EPS, but good. But they did have good guidance, but they're down from it. And then we got about 8 minutes until the NVIDIA numbers drop. There's Intel. Snap trying to move up. Here's the Q, so you can see how the broader market is reacting to it. Hey, thank you, Greystone. We appreciate you, man. Yeah, y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Everything we do here is free, so we don't sell or charge anything. We don't claim to be experts. We don't act like gurus. All the content we put out is completely free. There's no paywalls behind it. So if you appreciate it, hit the subscribe button. We certainly appreciate the support. Do it now. We got NVIDIA pumping up to 172.80s. I hope we get a good result here for NVIDIA because, again, it's going to sympathy affect Intel and Snap probably just because tech related. And NVIDIA is such a huge company right now. So hopefully we have positive numbers, but I understand there is some skepticism in that regard also. Again, we got the ETH merge coming up. We have just a lot of things that a lot of people might be kind of skeptical of NVIDIA from. So we'll see. Hopefully we get good numbers. Let me know in chat what you guys think will happen here. We did do a poll on Twitter as well. And be sure to follow me on Twitter to see what we get. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Alpha Insider. Alpha Insider is a pretty useful tool that ultimately allows you to track your trades. All right, team. There we go. So yeah, so if you look at Alpha Insider, you can actually track your trade. So I can go to like ETH Moon, and you can see 5 years they're up 1,100%, 1,200%. Oil, baby, they're up 914, and you can track people's trades like this. I'm also going to be updating my swing trades. I only did one of my swing trades on Intel, and we're still holding this. You can see where it shows you kind of portfolio, what we're tracking. We're down small on this trade so far, but if you want to track our swing trades, this is the website to do it. I can't guarantee anything. And they are a sponsor of our video, but again, a great tool that you can track people's trades if you want to kind of follow what people are doing in terms of swing trading, investments. It'll kind of give you their daily percentage if they do trade that day, give you some explanations and why. And so just a pretty useful site. And I'll post this link if you want to help support your boy and check it out. Good site to follow what I'm doing if you want to know more about my swing trades. And we're going to start getting more into the swing of things in terms of like dropping our swing trades here so you guys can watch. Also going to put it in the description if you're interested. Again, Q pulling back. Again, if we look at Snow, good guidance has this one flying up here, man. And this one got up to 186. I'm pretty sure there's some algos that look at what specifically the guidance is and then immediately take positions based off of that. I think that type of algorithm makes sense because guidance is so important for these earnings releases. Like a company can have a huge EPS miss, but if they think they're going to be really profitable next quarter, the stock can run. And that's kind of what you see here with SNOW. As like I said, SNOW had a miss on EPS. They had a sales beat, but they posted good guidance. So Snow's ripping up. CRM, it can also affect stuff on the downside as well. If you look at CRM, this one had pretty good numbers, I think. So CRM, they announced a 10 billion share buyback program. They had an EPS and sales beat, but they had bad guidance. And so they had worse guidance. They thought third quarter adjusted EPS would come in at 129. It only came in at 120 to 121, and sales came in at 7.82 versus 8.07 expected. So worse guidance. And again, so guidance is everything here when you're looking at earnings. And it's probably going to be relevant when we look at NVIDIA also, regardless of what the EPS and sales show. So earnings drop exactly in 3 minutes at 4:20 exactly. All right, guys, less than 3 minutes here, less than 3 minutes. NVIDIA's starting to pump back up. We can see CRM or Salesforce. All right. Let's see what these numbers show for NVIDIA. They're dropping very soon, very soon. All right, guys, 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes until the NVIDIA numbers. It's starting to creep up towards the top of the range on pre-market. Just broke the pre-market high for a split second here. Got all the way up to 173.12 before pulling back pretty heavily over the next candle. So we do have the earnings dropping pretty soon here, team. And we'll see how this broadly affects everything, including the market itself. I'm a gamer. NVIDIA can have all my money with the 3090s. Hey. Did I say pre-market? No, it's not today. Pre-market, we got 2 minutes, a minute and a half before the NVIDIA numbers drop. All right, team. Hey, what's up, HTF? What's up, guys? Appreciate y'all joining me. We're at 173.10s right now, 173s for NVIDIA. So let's see if it pumps up. Again, guidance is so important here. We got less than a minute. And so when we drop these numbers, we'll see what they show, but we're going to look at guidance as well because guidance is going to be so impactful over the overall reaction to these earnings reports. And again, we're getting ready right now. We got about 30 seconds. They should drop on the dot at 4:20. NEO earnings, I'm pretty sure, are early September mark, but I'm not 100%. I kind of hope the same, Pond, to be honest. I hope it rips and Kathy Woods is wildly wrong here. But we'll see. All right, guys, 10 seconds. All right, you can see NVIDIA on the right side of the screen here. You can see CRM starting to react negatively. All right, guys, here's the NVIDIA earnings. Let's see what they show. All right, there's 4:20 on the dot. Let's wait for these numbers to come out. Let's see what NVIDIA does here. Quiet right now. Quiet right now. The report's not live yet. No reaction to NVIDIA. All right, it's very quiet. We're waiting for the NVIDIA numbers to come out. They're supposed to come out at 4:20. Yeah, well, Google's wrong, I'm pretty sure, in that way. I'm pretty sure it's early September. I think Google just takes an average on when they were reported last for NEO, but I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong, to be honest. All right, guys, nothing out for NVIDIA yet. There they go. So NVIDIA just tanked. They did drop their second quarter results. Quarter revenue came in at 6.7 billion. Data center revenue. Let's see where the GAAP were 26 cents, down 72%. From a year ago. So 26-cent profit for GAAP earnings. What was the expectation? 54 cents. So much worse than expected EPS for NVIDIA. Again, 26-cent profit versus a 54-cent profit estimate for NVIDIA here. So much worse than expected. And NVIDIA tanked just now on those numbers. Again, NVIDIA dropped they dropped 26-cent per share GAAP EPS Much worse than expected. We're going to get the full list of numbers here, but yeah, much worse than expected. We are popping up a little bit, though. 26-cent EPS, which was versus 50-something cent expectation. 6.7 billion for the second quarter revenue. So adjusted EPS came in at 51 cents versus 125 estimate. Sales missed as well here, but NVIDIA is starting to kind of creep up, which is just strange. But here's the full numbers for NVIDIA. Let's pivot to guidance. Maybe they had good guidance numbers, which is causing this big pump. Let me see if we can find it. Outlook for the third quarter revenue is expected to be 5.9 billion, plus or minus 2%. So again, 5.9 billion revenue. Maybe the silver lining there. I'm trying to see what the expectations were for guidance. What were the guidance expectations for NVIDIA? Does anybody know? NVIDIA about to go green on the day. Hey, I hope we just don't make any sense. I hope these results are just nonsensical. I got to see what the guidance expectations were. Okay, so here they are. Third quarter sales came in at 5.9 billion plus or minus. Yeah, here is the full numbers right here. So guidance came in better than expected, I guess. But here's the full numbers. That is the full list of numbers for NVIDIA. They expect GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins to be 62.4% and 65% respectively. Yeah, NVIDIA's starting to pump up. Back green on the day for NVIDIA. Back red, right in the middle, completely neutral for NVIDIA. We'll see if they hold these gains here for NVIDIA. But again, we missed on both aspects in both metrics in terms of EPS and sales. Hopefully the market's just nonsensical. Yeah, it's a big EPS miss. 51-cent profit per share, missed the 125 estimate. Sales of 6.7, missed the 8.1. It's a big sales miss too, to be honest. Third quarter guidance might be the silver lining here. Again, guidance matters more than anything else, regardless of sales and EPS numbers or metrics. Guidance is the most important thing. So maybe with that 5.9 billion guidance expectations, that might be causing some bullish reactions here. And I'm hoping that's the case. Look at NVIDIA rip, about to break highs. Let's see if it does. It's at 173. So we're creeping up here. We've had 3 green candles since the initial drop after the earnings were reported for NVIDIA. 3 green candles. The Q is actually surprisingly green from this as well. And these numbers were not good. These were not good numbers. Again, maybe guidance expectations caused this thing to pump. Okay, so guidance came in worse than expected as well. Third quarter revenue came in at 5.9, plus or minus 2%. The analyst consensus was 6.9. And so it came in a full $1 billion worse than expected for third quarter revenue. I don't know why this is moving up. I really have no idea. But hey, I'm for it. Let's see it. Ramp up, NVIDIA. Make no sense today. I'm all good with it. Of course, the bears are going to be mad if we ended up holding these levels, but I'm okay with it. Again, I'm holding Intel and it's Snapchat, so some tech stocks. And so I want to see tech do good. Yeah, that guidance is a huge miss, guys. Huge miss. Don't get it twisted. I mean, I'm hoping it holds, but we'll see. All right, 171.50s. We got the full earnings call that we're going to stream live here in about 35 minutes. 35 minutes. We got NVIDIA up there to 172s. 172s. Yeah, everybody kind of thought NVIDIA earnings would be bad, but man, who knew they were going to be this bad? We're also going to put it in sub-only mode, guys, okay? So if you appreciate free trading content, hit the subscribe button. We're going to stream the full earnings call here as well. And so if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We're putting it in sub-only mode as NVIDIA is about to break highs. Hopefully, announce yourself. Show that you're subscribed now that we're entering sub-only mode. And NVIDIA is about to break highs. We're at 173s, or at least it's approaching highs now. Again, announce yourself. Show that you're supportive. We're in sub-only mode now. I appreciate the love and support. Yeah, listen, I don't care. I hope NVIDIA makes absolutely no sense and just breaks highs. Again, guidance bad, EPS is bad, sales miss, EPS miss. Who cares, man? NVIDIA, let's break highs. I'm for it. Yeah, listen, it can make absolutely 0 sense, and that's okay. 172s for NVIDIA. Let's see it run. Again, we're going to stream the full earnings call here live as well. 6.7 is in line with pre-announcement on 8.8. First time. Hey, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. It makes sense. Listen, I'm for it, dude. That dip was too quick. Hey, market has been wacky. Yeah, for sure. I'm for it, man. If there's any stock I want just to be nonsensical in terms of earnings, it's NVIDIA. Again, I'm for it, man. Listen, EPS miss, who cares? Sales miss, nobody wants that. Guidance miss, doesn't matter. Let's let NVIDIA run here. We're actually almost green on the day. We're slightly red right now. We're under the previous closing price. And yeah, we'll see what we get here, team. All right, so NVIDIA pre-lease guidance was on par. Okay. Hey, thank you, Hassan. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. The earnings are out already. The earnings call is going to be at 5:30 in about 33 minutes, and we're going to cover that as well. So you want the market not to make sense. In terms of NVIDIA, yes. We could be nonsensical. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm holding NVIDIA long-term, so it doesn't really matter to me. I just want to see NVIDIA do well, And so I understand the ETH merge is around the corner. If the ETH merge goes through, then people aren't going to need NVIDIA as much because they're not going to be able to mine Ethereum. And I know there's a lot of other nuance behind it, but listen, listen, when you like a company, you like a company. And so, of course, I want it to go up. Oh, bro, we're Big Papa Noob right here, JDM, dude. Of course, man. Listen to me. I'm Big Papa Noob, bro. I have no idea what I'm talking about, dude. Cheers to you. What's up, Daniel? Yeah, AMD should probably get a bump. Intel should probably get a bump as well. We're honestly break even right now. If you see this light blue line right here, guys, we'll make it larger so you guys can actually see it. This light blue line right here is the previous closing price. This is the level at which NVIDIA goes from green to red and red to green. And so if it holds over this light blue line, then it's technically green on the day. Yeah, let's see if it holds. Again, we got the earnings call that we're going to stream live in about 30. Yeah, difficult to move a 400 billion cap company. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, so NVIDIA bouncing back and forth right around that previous closing price here. If we zoom out, 170-170s is right where we are. We're technically red on the day, but not much. We're pretty close to break even. Q's doing okay as well. All my other positions are all right. So we'll see if this holds. We just want to see NVIDIA hold. Neutral reaction is fine considering how bad the numbers were. Oh, yeah, Victoria's Secret, are they out with theirs yet? All right, so let's look at Victoria's Secret. VSCO. Yeah, they had a EPS beat, revenue miss. EPS came in at 109. Beat the 94 cent estimates. Revenue of 1.52 missed by about 40 million. So 109 beat the 95 cent estimate. Sales of 1.52 missed the 1.56 billion estimate. So EPS beat and a sales miss for Victoria's Secret. They saw third quarter and fiscal year 23 sales decrease in high single digit range compared to the prior year. So bad guidance for Victoria's Secret, but good EPS and sales numbers. Or no, good EPS sales miss. And you can see so far they are reacting negatively to this, most likely from the bad guidance for Victoria's Secret. Guidance below estimates. They put in an EPS beat by about 14 cents, revenue of 1.52 billion, which missed as well for Victoria's Secret. NVIDIA back over 172s for a split second. We're at 172.95s. Again, here's CRM. Bad guidance for CRM. SNOW, good guidance, made this thing pump up. Autodesk reacting positively to their numbers, I guess, on good guidance. But NVIDIA at 171.80s here, guys. 171.80s. Yeah, I want NVIDIA to go green. 61% growth in data center. Yeah, we'll cover the rest of it here too. All right, so here's some data here just to show you guys what's going down for NVIDIA. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Quarter revenue was lower than Outlook issued in May, primarily due to weaker gaming revenue. They said they see third quarter GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins came in at 62.4 to 65%. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses were expected to be about 2.59 to 1.82 billion. We also had professional visualization revenue at 496 million versus the consensus of 559, so lower than expected pro visualization revenue. Man, I don't know why I can't say visualization. Nailed it. Data center revenue came in at 3.81 billion versus previous year over year, it's up 61%. Automotive revenue came in at 220 million. 11.93 billion remaining under share repurchase authorization through December of 23, and they plan to continue the share repurchases this fiscal year as well. And so that is kind of what's going down for NVIDIA. All right, NVIDIA down to 170s, guys, 170s. All right, guys. So yeah, NVIDIA at 171s. Let's see if we hold here, man. Again, we've kind of confirmed this level a few times, right around 170, 160, 170, 150 or so. So let's just see if we hold over 171. No cap, eh? Let's see if it keeps up. BBIG squeezing. There's Autodesk. Here's CRM. Yeah, Salesforce got clapped down to 170. SNOW ramped up big, about to test highs as well for SNOW. Q pulling back a little bit. Let's just see if NVIDIA can hold these numbers here. All right, guys, NVIDIA down to 170, kind of a psychological level. We'll see if it actually holds the spot here. It's at 170 right now. So NVIDIA dumping under 170. Let's see if it actually holds. There's 169s. BBIG. All right, there's NVIDIA starting to correct down a little bit. It's at 169s right now for NVIDIA, 169s. There's 168.20s for NVDA. All right, guys, so now we're starting to see a bear reaction here. It's a little bit delayed. We're at 168s now, 169. So let's see if we hold. Lows of pre-market are 164.20s after that initial release. We do have Intel starting to correct back down here. And again, the earnings call is supposed to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to cover it fully live here as we do. Don't forget to subscribe. I bounced it a little bit at 169. BBIG is gapping up some, but pulling back some lately as well. We got CRM down to 170s, looking weak. SNOW ramping up at 185s. You see the Q kind of correcting a little bit, starting to test the previous close. Tech also starting to react negatively to this as well. There's NVIDIA at 168.90, so right around 169. Yeah, I mean, I feel you, Daniel. I mean, in the end, I want to see the stock go up, so I'm okay with it holding. Again, some people are speculating that it was pre-release numbers, so pre-release numbers are keeping it propped up, apparently. At least that's what a few people are saying. And so if that's the case, then that's why it didn't react negatively. So maybe there's a justification for it. We're at 168.40s for NVIDIA, 168.40s. CRM is at 170s. $168 for NVIDIA, 168s. Now 167, so under 168 now. CRM starting to test under 170 as well. We got the earnings call starting in about 23 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, ZZ. The ETH merge is going to be bringing a lot of their mining operations to a close in terms of like ETH mining. You know, it's going to transition to proof of stake with the ETH merge. It's supposed to be early September. And with that ETH merge, you know, a lot of miners are going to lose money, and, you know, NVIDIA is going to lose some utility in terms of mining for ETH. So with that, you know, if the ETH merge goes through, which I think is still a big question mark here, I don't think it's guaranteed, to be honest. They pushed it back a lot. So with the ETH merge going through and all, you know, it's one of those things where we'll see. All right, guys, NVIDIA started up here. All right, at 167.70s for NVIDIA. We got CRM at 170, so trying to hold there. All right, so down under 168 here. 167 is kind of the wick low from this previous move, so let's watch it. Let's see if this actually holds. Bro, Nicole Kidman is like 8 feet tall, bro. 167.60s for NVIDIA, 167.70s. We got CRM at 170, so let's see if that holds. Yeah, so we're trying to consolidate. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red candles in a row here. Let's see if we hold over 167. I think that's the closest support level we have. Locally, I'm seeing a lot of discounts on NVIDIA's stuff. Yeah. All right, so there's 167.80. So popping up a little bit on that candle. That might just be a glitch going to this closing order. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, my Intel position hasn't really reacted super negatively to this. That's fine, you know. It just hasn't really reacted a ton to it, which is okay. Snapchat either. Snapchat's just kind of chilling here. Q starting to bounce up a little bit. We'll see if NVIDIA holds 167. Again, we got about 19 minutes before the earnings call starts. IONQ. Yeah, it's gapping up a little bit. There's no real range to it, though. You think this is good or bad for Intel? There's Intel on the left. Do y'all think this drop is good or bad for Intel? This drop in NVIDIA. Do you think this earnings report for NVIDIA is good or bad, I guess? I heard they ordered too many 4,000 chips from TSMC, and TSMC wouldn't let them go down on how much they ordered. Micro Center has full shelves of NVIDIA cards. Dude, we don't have any Micro Centers around me, man. I don't think we do. I don't know. Oh, we do have one, man. I didn't even know. Where is this at? This is in Houston, so yeah, I don't have any close to me. All right, so NVIDIA just broke under 167s here. Intel moving up on this, so I guess it's good for Intel. We'll see. Again, the earnings call is live. All right, call starts at 5 p.m. Just to clarify, everybody, the call starts at 5 p.m. There we go. Very good for Intel. Mostly due to the CHIPS Act. Bad. It will be 70. I think it's a balancing act here. AMD's gonna drop. Now we did have a 167 bounce for NVIDIA, so we did bounce right off of that 167 level here. Yeah, the earnings call is gonna be in 16 minutes. Hey, we'll see. And again, guys, if y'all want to kind of help me track some of my swing trades, we're going to be adding our current swing trades here to Alpha Insider. A great way to track swing trades, but you can also just check out to see what a lot of traders are doing here. It'll kind of let you track, this is a price zone back-tested strategy. He's up 98% over 5 years, 51% on the year, 3% on the month. And you can kind of look at this and kind of see what they're doing and track their trades to kind of see. It'll show you when they took trades, why they took trades. You can see their positions, when at any point in time, and it'll kind of back test them and track these type of trades. A lot of cool ways to do this. If we zoom out here, you can see there's paid, and most of it is free though. So it's a completely free site. This one is based off of capital preservation and modest growth for old people. And you can see it's at 104%. So not bad here. And you can see the gains they've made, what stocks and what securities they've traded. Really useful free website where you can kind of follow traders to see what they're doing. We do have a profile here. And so again, if you want to check this company out, they are a sponsor of our video. It's a great way to help support the channel. You can also find the link in the description. But again, check it out here. We're going to be updating our swing trades on this platform pretty soon. So check it out. There's the link. NVIDIA did bounce at 168. It looks like there might be somewhat of an inverse relationship, obviously, to Intel and NVIDIA. I guess because they're competitors, but they're also in the same sector, and so I think there's some sympathy movement for those two as well. AMD, let's see how AMD has reacted to this. AMD is kind of doing the same thing. AMD is reacting much more heavily. Under $100. It's at $92 for AMD. But again, it's got a sympathy moving with Intel if we look at this here. Here's AMD right here. It's at $92. Again, we do have the earnings call starting pretty soon. All right, guys. All right, guys, we got NVIDIA at 168. It's bouncing a little bit, 13 minutes. Peloton earnings drop tomorrow. 200 end of week, Jason. He says, don't forget, remember Q1, every time NVIDIA posts earnings, it dumps after market and bounces the next day. Don't worry, 200 at the end of the week. We'll see. Yeah, huge miss on everything, 9 out of Ben. Huge miss on everything. We missed on both adjusted EPS, sales missed, third quarter guidance missed, GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins missed. And so we missed on everything for NVIDIA. But we dropped for sure, but it wasn't a huge drop, and we're kind of consolidating now at around 167. A lot of people are probably waiting for the earnings call, which again, we'll go live in about 12 minutes here. We're going to stream the full earnings call live at 12. Yeah, Tesla split tomorrow as well. Big news for Tesla tomorrow. The first split enacted day for Tesla. Tesla should be around 300 tomorrow, give or take. All right, guys, 168.20s here for NVIDIA, 168.20s. Hey, baby. NVIDIA bouncing at 168, guys. Yeah, NVIDIA missed on guidance as well. Again, they saw third quarter sales coming at 5.9 billion expectations for third quarter. They expected 6.9 billion, so came in worse than expected on that front as well here. Again, the earnings call starts in about 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry. I'm right here. Yeah, we're gonna listen to the full thing. Dude, I'm not on a loop. Lucas, what are you talking about, bro? Do you think we will bounce tomorrow just like last time they posted earnings? I don't know. I can't predict the future, man. You know, I'm just reporting the numbers as much as I can, as often as I can for people that just joined the stream. And so you might hear me repeat things over and over again. Again, we're reporting what shows up, obviously, because some people just joined to watch the earnings call. Some people are joining saying, hey, what's the actual numbers? And so we're just reporting them. I'm also talking to my wife, so I keep kind of muting it and then just kind of reporting stuff and then going back to it. The Q with a big red candle. I don't know if this is going to be an actual red candle. And we'll see. We're at 315s, but I don't think that's going to actually hold. But yeah, we dropped worse than expected guidance. Again, they showed third quarter sales at 5.9 billion. They expected 6.9 billion, so we came in a full billion less in terms of expectational guidance for the third quarter, which ain't good for NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA under 168 now. Yeah, GDP tomorrow. We look at the economic calendar. We got a bunch of stuff dropping. We got Tesla's first day post split tomorrow. It should be around $300 for Tesla. We have jobless claims, GDP numbers coming out. So that'll be fun. PCE numbers Friday. AMD at 92.20s. We got Intel. Again, we can take a look at Intel here at 33s. Starting to try to bounce over 168s for NVIDIA. We'll see. Here's the Q. Again, Q's mostly sideways as well. I mean, listen, I think if we can hold most of what we had previously on NVIDIA after this big earnings report, I think that's great. You know, I think this was a really bad earnings report. This is an earnings report where I would expect NVIDIA to just absolutely tank, you know. But I think it was baked in because of a pre-release, you know, and so I think it was baked in because of a pre-release. But still, I mean, we missed on everything, you know. So again, let me know if you're buying this dip for NVIDIA. The earnings call's in 7 minutes at 5 p.m. in 7 minutes. Yeah, all good, Lucas. Yeah, we got PTON earnings tomorrow as well, so that'll be fun too. We'll see what that shows. Also, before the earnings call, y'all check out Stonk.tech, useful company. Super useful because it's kind of a trading social media company, kind of like StockTwits, but a little bit better because once they go live, they're going to give you free dark pool and option access. A lot of other stuff for Stonk. You know, they're going to have kind of a trading social media platform here. You can find a lot more in this video kind of detailing what it's about. It connects traders. They can learn different things. There's free professional tools for traders. And again, it'll go live. You can consider it a favor if you join the waitlist for Stonk. Again, if you're part of the ape community, they're really big over there on that front, and they're going to have a lot of free tools for traders to use that you have to pay for nowadays, right? So free tools is always good. It's completely free to join the waitlist and sign up. It'll be a completely free site. And again, you can check out the link, join the waitlist right there in chat. We certainly appreciate it. They are a sponsor of our video. So yeah, we certainly appreciate it. Anybody that wants to sign up and help support us. And yeah, they'll go live soon, hopefully. I'm thinking the bottom is around 140. Crypto is hurting them more than they are telling. Yeah, well, for sure. Well, crypto is dropping, which is certainly causing less interest. We also have the ETH merge coming up in early September is when it's speculated to show up. So if you look at when merge, the ETH merge is supposed to happen. Let me see when it's supposed to happen. In 19 days on September 13th is when the estimated merge is supposed to happen. So again, we'll see. Mainnet is based on a target. TTD, it's going to change. It says about 21 days for that. So again, the ETH merge should be happening sometime over the next 30 to 60 days. And that's not going to be good for NVIDIA either. All right, guys, 5 minutes before the earnings call. All right, guys. So yeah, so we got the earnings call ready. It's supposed to start anytime now. Over the next 4 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if the ETH fork is going to go through. I mean, that's speculatable. But I don't know. 150 tomorrow, 140 at close on Friday. We'll see. Yeah, when the ETH proof of stake goes through, cars will flood the market. Yeah, for sure. Is there anything positive on the NVIDIA report? Not really. I mean, you can kind of see usually with these reports, they post the most positive things at the very beginning, right? So if you look at the NVIDIA report here, quarter revenue was up 3% year over year to 6.7 billion. Data center revenue was up 61% year over year to 3.81 billion. And quarterly return to shareholders came in at 3.44 billion. So those were positive in the earnings report. But those are the most positive things. GAAP EPS is down. They said, quote, the founder and CEO said, quote, we are navigating our supply chain transitions in a challenging macro environment, and we will get through this, end quote. He said, quote, again, just to comment on it, he said, accelerating computing and AI, the pioneering work of our company, are transforming industries. Automotive is becoming a tech industry and is on track to be our next billion-dollar business. Advances in AI are driving our data centers business while accelerating breakthroughs in fields from drug discovery to climate sciences to robots. I look forward to next month's GDC conference, where we will share new advances in RTX, as well as breakthroughs in AI and the metaverse, the next evolution of the internet. Join us, he said. And then that was all quoting from the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. Again, quarterly revenues up 3%. Data center revenue up 61% year over year. We'll see if we can hold. We got the queue up on the left chart. We see NVIDIA at 167.70s here. And the earnings call is going to be starting in about a minute and a half. And again, we're going to stream it fully live here as we speak. Just real quick, before the earnings call actually starts, can you guys hear the music? Yeah, if the merge fails, then NVIDIA is going to ramp, dude. NVIDIA is going to fly if the merge fails. You know, the merge failing is great for NVIDIA because it means people will still be mining ETH, you know. All right, so you can hear the music. Good. We're going to cut out the music here in a second and start to get ready for the actual earnings call, which should be starting in about a minute. I'm going to cut out the music. Get ready for this. Hey, sorry, I am not. But yeah, earnings call starts pretty soon. Again, while we do this, hit the subscribe button. We certainly appreciate the love and support. We are pushing towards 84,000 subscribers. We truly appreciate all the love and support we've gotten over the past couple weeks. We've grown by thousands of subscribers a month. And yeah, we truly appreciate it. Giving you guys free trading content, just free trading content. We don't charge a penny for anything. So there's no paywalls. We don't sell a course. We don't even claim to be experts here. And so smash the like, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. We certainly appreciate you all. And yeah, let's keep the growth up, team, if we haven't already. All right, guys, earnings call should be starting sometime in the next 10, 15 seconds. We'll see. Sometimes they start about a minute late. So, again, we're just kind of sitting back waiting for this, but it should be starting sometime soon. Let's not forget that a lot of people already stopped mining because of energy prices up and crypto value extremely down. I shut down my 30 GPU farm. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm looking at him. I mean, we'll let him. He's not saying anything too bad for now, but I appreciate the heads up regardless. All right, NVIDIA down to 167s. Let's see if they started yet. All right, no, still hasn't started yet. Again, sometimes they start about a minute late. Boom.
Today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to
Sound
NVIDIA's
check.
second quarter earnings call.
Sound check,
All
1 2 1
lines
2.
have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press
Operator, it's
star.
2 o'clock. Can we get started?
Whoa, damn. Shots fired. Yeah. Ooh. She must not be able to hear
Regina,
it,
can you hear me?
Oh, y'all are going to throw on this music? Ah, man. All right, guys. Well, I don't know what's going on with them over here at NVIDIA. Oh, man. Somebody's getting chewed out right now. What's going on? Somebody's getting chewed out, huh? There we go.
From NVIDIA are Jensen Huang, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. I'd like to remind you that our call is being webcast live on NVIDIA's Investor Relations website. The webcast will be available for replay until the conference call to discuss our financial results for the third quarter of fiscal 2023. The content of today's call is NVIDIA's property. It can be reproduced or transcribed without our prior written consent. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business, please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All our statements are made as of today, August 24th, 2022, based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any such statements. During this call, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures. You can find a reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to GAAP financial measures in our CFO commentary, which is posted on our website. With that, let me turn the call over to Colette.
Thanks, Simona. This was a challenging quarter. Total revenue of $6.7 billion was down 19% sequentially and up 3% year-on-year, below the $8.1 billion outlook we provided on our last earnings call. As we'd indicated in our pre-announcement press release on August 8th, we experienced a shortfall to our expectations, driven primarily by weaker gaming revenue. Today, we will share with you more details on our Q2 results and Q3 outlook. Starting with gaming. Revenue of $2.04 billion was down 44% sequentially and down 33% year-on-year, reflecting challenging market conditions. As discussed in May, we expected a sequential decline in gaming revenue due to softness in Europe related to the war in Ukraine and COVID lockdowns in China. The decline in gaming GPU revenue was sharper than anticipated, driven by both lower units and lower ASPs. Macroeconomic headwinds across the world drove a sudden slowdown in consumer demand. We implemented programs with our gaming channel partners to adjust pricing in the channel and to price position current high-end desktop GPUs as we prepare for a new architecture launch. As noted last quarter, we had expected cryptocurrency mining to make a diminishing contribution to gaming demand. We are unable to accurately quantify the extent to which reduced crypto mining contributed to the decline in gaming demand. While gaming navigates significant short-term macroeconomic challenges, we believe the long-term fundamentals in gaming remain strong. NVIDIA RTX has redefined computer graphics and is now supported by almost 300 games and applications. NVIDIA's GeForce GPUs are the most coveted brand by gamers, representing 15 of the top 15 most popular GPUs on Steam. Gaming has emerged from the pandemic as an even more popular form of entertainment and social connectivity. Estimated GeForce sell-through is up over 70% since before the pandemic, and peak concurrent users on Steam are also up more than 70% over the same time period. GeForce Now registered members now exceed 20 million. This quarter, we added 80 more titles, including the hugely popular Genshin Impact, bringing our total to over 1,350. Moving to professional visualization. Revenue of $496 million was down 20% sequentially and down 4% from a year ago. A sequential increase in mobile revenue was more than offset by lower desktop revenue, particularly at the high end. As macroeconomic headwinds intensified, enterprise demand slowed, and OEMs worked to reduce inventory. We expect these trends to persist in Q3. While ProViz is undergoing a near-term adjustment After doubling last year, we believe we have expanded the market opportunity over the last couple of years with AI and Omniverse workloads. We believe hybrid work is here to stay, and with it, the need for collaborative 3D design enabled by professional graphic workstations, both at home and in the office, as well as in the cloud. In June, we announced a partnership with Siemens to enable the industrial metaverse, an AI-powered digital twins connecting Siemens accelerator platform to NVIDIA Omniverse. This connection opens Siemens to the vast ecosystem of NVIDIA Omniverse and NVIDIA to Siemens ecosystem of the world's largest industries. Earlier this month at SIGGRAPH, the premier computer graphics conference, we announced advancements to several foundational technologies of the metaverse, defined as the 3D version of the internet. First, NVIDIA Omniverse Avatar Cloud Engine will enable businesses to create and deploy assistants and avatars, transforming interactions across a range of industries. We also unveiled 11 new Omniverse connectors, bringing the total number of connectors to the Omniverse USD ecosystem to 112. And finally, we released SDKs for the new field of neurographics, which intertwines AI and graphics to help automate the creation of virtual worlds. Moving to automotive, revenue of $220 million increased 59% sequentially and 45% from the year-ago quarter. Strong growth was driven by auto AI solutions, which include AI cockpit and self-driving revenue, with particular strength in self-driving as new energy vehicle design wins ramp into volume. We believe Q2 was an inflection point for our automotive revenue, as NVIDIA Orin has great momentum. During the quarter, we announced rollout plans of new vehicles from OEM partners, NIO, Li Auto, Jidu, and Human Horizons, as well as Pony AI's line of self-driving trucks and robotaxi, all built on NVIDIA Drive. Looking forward, we expect our $11 billion automotive design win pipeline to translate to continued growth. Moving to data center, revenue of $3.81 billion grew 1% sequentially and 61% year-on-year. Although a record, this was somewhat short of our expectations as we were impacted by supply chain disruptions. Revenue from hyperscale customers nearly doubled year-on-year. Sequentially, sales to North America hyperscale and cloud computing customers increased, but were more than offset by lower sales to China hyperscale customers affected by domestic economic conditions. Vertical industries grew both sequentially and year-on-year. Key workloads driving growth include natural language processing, recommender systems, autonomous vehicle fleet data processing and training, and cloud graphics. Let me share a couple customer examples. Pinterest transitioned to 100x larger recommender models by moving its inference from CPUs to NVIDIA GPUs. Its ability to deploy a higher quality model at high throughput and low latency resulted in a 16% increase in engagement, a critical metric for the company, which has over 400 million users and 300 billion images. And Tesla recently upgraded its supercomputer to use over 7,000 A100 GPUs for autopilot training. From a product perspective, networking led growth this quarter with strong demand from our high-speed Ethernet adapters and design win momentum toward next-generation adapters, including the ConnectX-6 and ConnectX-7. We also see growing interest from cloud service providers for our new Spectrum 4 400 gigabit per second Ethernet networking platform. Additionally, we are ramping into the upcoming launches of our next generation platforms. The Hopper architecture flagship H100 data center GPU is in production. Grace is our first CPU, top Computer makers, including Dell, HPE, Inspur, Lenovo, and Supermicro, are adopting the new NVIDIA Grace CPU superchip and Grace Hopper superchip to build the next generation of servers. 71% of the systems on the latest top 500 list of the world's fastest supercomputers are powered by NVIDIA, including 31 of 39 new systems. NVIDIA's own Selene supercomputer ranks at number 8 in the top 500 and is the world's fastest enterprise supercomputer. Moreover, 22 of the top 30 systems on the green 500 list of the most energy-efficient supercomputers are powered by NVIDIA. Significant advances in software technologies are key to our platform performance. In the past 2 years, our A100-based platform has delivered 6x more performance as measured by the MLPerf industry benchmark, largely through new software technologies and optimizations. Last month, we announced an update to the NeMo Megatron framework that can speed up the training of large language models by up to 30%. Improving a multi-$100 million AI infrastructure by 30% translates to significant value for customers. LLMs are one of the most important neural networks today, ranging in size from tens of billions to over 1 trillion parameters. Learning from text, they can be used for real-time content generation, text summarization, customer service chatbots, and question answering for conversational AI interfaces. Currently, these capabilities are available to early access customers to run on NVIDIA DGX SuperPODs and NVIDIA DGX Foundry, as well as in Microsoft Azure Cloud, with other cloud platforms available soon. We are working with the industry leaders in large language models, a very active and exciting space of AI. Moving to the rest of the P&L, GAAP gross margins was 43.5%, and non-GAAP gross margin was 45.9%. Gross margin includes $1.22 billion in charges for inventory and related reserves based on revised expectations of future demand, and $122 million for warranty reserves. These charges incurred in the quarter reflect purchase commitments that we made during a time of severe component shortages and our current expectation of ongoing macro uncertainty. We believe our long-term gross margin profile is intact. GAAP operating expenses were up 36% from a year ago and down 32% sequentially, as Q1 included a $1.35 billion acquisition termination charge related to the ARM transaction. Non-GAAP operating expenses were up 38% from a year ago and up 9% sequentially. These increases were driven primarily by employee growth costs, as well as increases in salaries to support our employees during this high inflationary environment, and engineering development of new products coming to market. We have slowed operating expense growth, balancing investments for long-term revenue growth while managing near-term profitability. Our full-year non-GAAP OpEx is expected to grow over 30%. During the first half of fiscal 2023, we returned $5.5 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and cash dividends. We plan to continue share repurchases. We have nearly $12 billion remaining under our authorization through December of 2023. Let me turn to the outlook for the third quarter of fiscal 23. We expect gaming and ProViz revenue to decline sequentially as OEMs and channel partners reduce inventory levels to align with current levels of demand and prepare for our new product generation. We expect that decline to be partially offset by sequential growth in data center and automotive. Revenue is expected to be $5.9 billion, plus or minus 2%. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 62.4% and 65%, respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $2.59 billion. Non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $1.82 billion. GAAP and non-GAAP other income and expenses are expected to be an expense of approximately $10 million, excluding gains and losses on non-affiliated investments. GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be 9.5%, plus or minus 1%, excluding any discrete items. Capital expenditures are expected to be approximately $550 to $600 million. Further financial details are included in the CFO commentary and other information available on our IR website. In closing, let me highlight upcoming events for the financial community. We will be attending the Jefferies Conference in Chicago on August 30th and the Goldman Sachs Conference in San Francisco on September 12th. And we will be holding a financial analyst Q&A with management following Jensen's GTC keynote on September 20th. Our earnings call to discuss the results of our third quarter of fiscal 2023 is scheduled for Wednesday, November 16th. We will now open the call for questions. Operator, can you assist? Would you please poll for questions?
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. As a reminder, please limit yourself to 1 question. Your first question comes from the line of CJ Muse with Evercore ISI. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. I think the question we all have is, what is normalized revenues for gaming for you guys? Obviously, this is a challenge for you as well, but curious how you're thinking about it today. Is the fiscal 20 recovery post the first half 19 correction an appropriate framework, or was that inflated by crypto as well? And I guess as part of that, how do we think about the cascading in of the new product cycle? And is there potential for future reserves needed to be taken if gaming does not meet your new updated outlook? Thanks so much.
Well, let me start first there and see if I can assist in terms of how to think about after we get through our completion just now of Q2 and what we have provided here for guidance for Q3. Across those 2 quarters, the Q2 of 23, the Q3 of 23, we have likely undershipped gaming to our end demand significantly. We expect that sell-through, or essentially our end demand for those combined 2 quarters of Q2 and Q3 to be approximately $5 billion. Now, on top of this, keep in mind that we do have gaming growth drivers to consider for the future. These can include our new gaming product introductions that are around the corner, as well as new segments of the market that we plan to reach with our gaming technology, to just name a couple. I'll turn it over to Jensen to talk a little bit more about that. Now, regarding any further types of write-downs on this perspective, we did a thorough assessment with this quarter, not only just looking at what we needed for this quarter, but what we need for the long term. Keep in mind, our inventory provisions and write-downs that we took into account had to reflect some of the purchasing that we did of supply back more than a year ago, when we were still in extreme supply shortages in almost all of our products. And so this was an opportunity for us to resize, given the macroeconomic conditions, what we needed in terms of supply. So our expectations were higher, and we took this opportunity to write them down to what our current expectations are. I'll turn it over to Jensen to see if he wants to add more.
Yeah, thanks, Colette. CJ, our sell-through is off the highs in the beginning of the year, but it's still very solid. In fact, sell-through has increased 70% since pre-COVID, pre-pandemic. And so it's very clear that gaming is the fundamentals of gaming are strong, and this medium is really doing well. Not to mention, the gaming platforms are being used. Our gaming PCs are being used for influencers, people sharing content, creating content, V-bloggers, VTubers. There's all kinds of new ways of engaging and spending time with video games. Our strategy is to reduce the sell-in this quarter, next quarter, to let channel inventory correct. Obviously we're off the highs, and the macro condition turns sharply worse. And so our first strategy is to reduce sell-in in the next couple of quarters to correct channel inventory. We've also instituted programs to price position our current products to prepare for next generation products. Ampere is the most popular GPU we've ever created. It is in the top 15 most popular gaming GPUs on Steam. And it remains the best GPUs in the world, and it will be very successful for some time. However, we do have exciting new next generation coming, and it's going to be layered on top of that. And so we've done two things. We've reduced sell-in to let channel inventory correct, and we've implemented programs with our partners to price position the products in the channel in preparation for our next generation. All of this, we anticipate we're working towards a path to being in a good shape going into next year. Okay, so that's what our game plan is.
Your next question will come from the line of Vivek Arya with Bank of America Securities. Your line is open.
Thanks for taking my question. Actually, just wanted to clarify, Jensen. So should we assume that gaming sell-in will kind of stay at these levels into your Q1 or Q2, or depending on new product launch, it might recover? So just wanted to make sure our baseline assumption is set there. And then my question is actually similar on the data center. Sales are pretty strong right now, but there is a concern that data center CapEx could be the next shoe to drop in this rolling correction in semiconductors. I'm curious, what's your sense of utilization of your data center shipments, and what is the risk that there could be a correction in the data center given some of the macro caution expressed by some of the hyperscaler and enterprise customers?
Yeah, thanks, Vivek. The sell-through, as I mentioned earlier, of GeForce is solid. The end market gaming demand is solid. It's off the highs, which was really high recently in the beginning of the year, and so because we were building for such a vibrant market, we found ourselves with excess inventory. And so our strategy is to sell in well below the current sell-through levels in the marketplace to give the channel an opportunity to correct. We'll do that for a couple of quarters or so. We believe that by the end of the year, we'll be in a good shape going into next year. And so I hope that answers your question. But the important thing is our sell-in rate is far below what is happening in the market for sell-throughs. The sell-through is solid, has increased 70% since pre-COVID, and so the gaming market is really quite vibrant. On the second question, on data center end markets, we hear fairly broadly that GPU supply is in shortage in the cloud. We hear quite broadly that demand for GPU rentals far exceeds current supply, and it's fairly sensible to us, partly because the number of use cases for GPUs in the cloud has grown quite a bit, If you look at one particular segment and just collecting data and managing the data of the AV fleet and using that data to train AI models, using that data to reconstruct HD maps, the usage of GPUs in the cloud for just that one application has grown a lot. And furthermore, there's the deep learning based recommender systems has demonstrated such significant effectiveness, and it helps internet service providers to enhance engagement, enhance click-through rate, and so this particular form of recommender systems is going to really drive a fair amount of data processing and machine learning in the cloud. And then, of course, over the last several years, a very important model has emerged called transformers. You and I have spoken about this model several times in the past, and it's been found that this transformer model, this language model, which when scaled up in size, exhibits really spectacular and effective capabilities to be used to learn skills with either few shots or almost no shot, meaning it could learn skills, it could perform skills that it had never learned because the knowledge was somehow encoded from the large amount of data that it had learned from. And so this large language model area of innovation is used in of course conversational chat, Q&A summarization, text generation, image generation, but very importantly, it's being used in life sciences for understanding chemistry. We've done some very important work in this area ourselves called MegaMobart, understanding proteins, understanding DNA, to learn the language of these large, very, very large, spatially as well as temporally or sequentially types of data. And so the impact of this area is really quite worth staying close to. It's called large language models. I think Stanford did a paper that called it foundation models that could be used for training all kinds of other types of AIs. And so we're seeing a great deal of demand for GPUs in the cloud. We were challenged this quarter with a fair amount of supply chain challenges because, as you know, we don't just sell the GPU chip, but these systems are really complex with a large number of chips in the system components that we offer, like HGX. And so kitting, all of the components have to come together for us to be able to deliver the final component. And then furthermore, these data centers sit idle until the last piece comes together. And the last piece includes very complicated switches and very complicated NICs and networkings and cables. And so building these high performance computing data centers at very large scale for the world's clouds is not particularly easy. And so the supply chain challenges have been somewhat disruptive. But the demand is there. And on top of that, we're ramping into Hopper, which is really a fantastic generation.
Your next question will come from the line of Matt Ramsey with Cowen. Your line is open.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I wanted to follow up on the data center question that Vivek just asked from a couple of angles. I guess, Colette, the first angle being in the release, you guys talked about pulling, high 200 millions of revenue into the July quarter from October, but also with supply chain challenges, maybe some deliveries that were meant for July got pushed back into October. So if you could talk a little bit more about those dynamics and just clarify for us that the October sequentially up data center guidance is actually clean of any pull-ins. And Jensen, the second part, the moving pieces, networking stronger in data center, US hyperscale stronger, China hyperscale weaker. if you could kind of walk us through the trends that you're seeing into the October and January quarters, and in those breakouts, and clarify for us when you think your H100 will really start to drive revenue. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for the question. And it's kind of a little bit of an add-on to some of the statements that Jensen was discussing regarding our supply chain and what we're seeing today. Our supply chain during the quarter really was quite difficult, was quite challenging to work through. Our platforms, including HDX, networking chips, cables, switches, were very important to the customers. It's not just about us selling the GPUs. So even though customers order components themselves, they're looking from us for what we may refer to as kits that go with those GPUs for them to stand up their data centers. We also experienced supply disruptions internally with our logistics and our component availability. Some of our supply arrived very late in the quarter. We had very little time from a logistics and availability to get those things out. Customers were impacted as well by availability of key third-party other components that we weren't offering, which was slowing down some of their deployments. So what we did in our Q2 orders that couldn't be delivered in Q3, given that some of these supply constraints existed, and we had Q3 demand where we did have supply in Q2. So we worked with customers to optimize that supply and demand, and that's what we've disclosed to you.
Your next question.
See, let me answer the questions about the North American and the China hyperscalers. The Chinese hyperscalers and the Chinese internet companies really slowed down infrastructure investment this year, particularly starting they've been rather slow in building out, and really really slowed down in Q2. This slowdown can't last forever, and the number of new technologies and software, the number of people who are using clouds, the number of cloud services is continuing to grow, and so I fully expect investment to return. They're a very important market for us, a very large market for us, and the fact that North American hyperscalers doubled year over year our revenues at the North American hyperscalers, and that was offset by declines in China, said something about the slowdown in China. And so I don't think that's going to last forever. I think it's going to return. With respect to Hopper, we're in full production now, and we're racing to get Hopper to all of the CSPs who are dying to get them. And it goes with our HGXs, which is multiple Hoppers on a system tray. It's really a supercomputer in a motherboard, if you will, and it goes along with it networking gear and switch gear, and so there are just enormous amounts of resources applied from all of the CSPs around the world and ourselves to get Hopper to them. We expect to ship substantial Hoppers in Q4.
Your next question will come from the line of Toshiya Hari with Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks so much for taking the question. I had a question regarding the $1.22 billion inventory charge, maybe for Colette on this one specifically. In the CFO commentary, I think you state that the inventory charge is related to weaker demand in both data center and gaming. I think the gaming side is pretty clear based on your comments so far. Curious what's changed on the data center side. Is it mostly the Chinese hyperscalers that Jensen just spoke to, or is there something else going on in terms of how you're thinking about demand in data center over the next couple of quarters. And related to this, curious if the delay in Sapphire Rapids at Intel is having an impact on your business in the near to medium term. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. So our inventory charges, as we commented, we're taking a thorough look of not only this last quarter as well as the quarter that we're guiding, but looking over the long term of what we need for demand and then what we had in terms of supply. Remember, we had purchased this very early on in the year as we needed to drive the commitments of the supply that we already have. And so what is happening here for the data center, we had great high expectations. We still have very strong, solid growth projection for data center as well. But we're going to take this opportunity for some of the prior architecture pieces to write down those, given what we see as just a change in terms of our expectations going forward. So you are correct. There are also pieces in there for gaming. We have written down some silicon and chips as the macroeconomic conditions, and we get ready for our future product launches, take into account. But there's also components, services, and capacities, and some of the other drivers that are incorporated in those write-downs.
Our Hopper supports previous generation CPUs, I guess next generation CPUs, Sapphire Rapids and Genoa after that, as well as Gravitons. So we certify and test across all of the CPUs because the cloud service providers demand it, and they intend to deploy NVIDIA accelerators and NVIDIA Hoppers across a large number of CPUs. There is no question that the delay is disruptive, and a lot of engineers have to scramble. It would have been a lot easier if next generation CPUs were to have executed more perfectly. However, Hopper goes into an environment with CSPs where they connect our PCI Express connectors to current generation CPUs as well. And so nobody likes the delay. The next generation CPUs will trigger a refresh of infrastructure and new servers, and so I'm super excited about them. However, we're going to be able to go to market plenty fine with Hopper supporting existing infrastructure.
Your next question will come from the line of Aaron Rakers with Wells Fargo. Your line is open.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question, and a lot of it's kind of been talked a little bit about, but I just, Colette, I want to think about the numbers a little bit more. I guess based on the guidance commentary, where I would come up thinking about would be is like a 30+% sequential decline in gaming and professional visualization, and maybe kind of low to mid-single digit growth in data center and auto. So I guess, is that the right context? And with that, and with Hopper coming down the pipeline, we're going to have a lot of questions around kind of the deceleration of year-over-year growth in data center, I believe. Do you think that Hopper, as that comes fully available, it sounds like in fiscal 4Q, that you actually see data center growth re-accelerate as that product cycle materializes?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And that's a pretty good understanding of our guidance. And we do expect, yes, gaming to decrease, not in the dollar amount that it decreased between Q1 and Q2. So that may be of our two areas of decline, our gaming and Pro Viz. That may be about 3/4 of it associated with that gaming. And then professional visualization would probably be about 1/4 of the two areas that will decline. Our data center, yes, we do expect it to grow. It may grow about what we just saw between Q1 and Q2. We'll continue to look at it. There may be some more opportunity there. And automotive, very similar to our thoughts at the very beginning of the quarter. We are expecting continued growth through each of the quarters of this fiscal year. And we felt that Q2 was an inflection point. So we'll continue to grow into Q3 and hopefully Q4 going forward. I'll turn it over to Jensen to see his thoughts in terms of Hopper, what Hopper brings to us in Q4 and expectations.
The first thing I'll say, Erin, is that we are selling in, or we're selling far below the market demand, far below the market sell-through. And the reason for that is to allow the inventory, the channel inventory, and the OEM inventories to correct. And this allows us to prepare for our next generation. And our next generation has Hopper for compute, but we also have a next generation for computer graphics that will be coming to market. Hopper is a giant new generation because it is designed to perform this new type of AI model called transformers. Has an engine inside it called Transformer Engine with numerical formats and pipelines that allows us to do a spectacular job on transformer type of models, which includes large language models, but it also includes computer vision models that are now able to be processed with this new type of AI model called transformers. And so I fully expect Hopper to be the next springboard for future growth, and the importance of this new model transformers can't possibly be understated and can't be overstated. This is the impact of this model across robotics, computer vision, languages, biology, chemistry, drug design. It is just really quite spectacular. And I'm sure that you've been hearing about this new breakthrough in AI, and Hopper was designed for this.
Your next question will come from the line of Atif Malik with Citi. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. Colette, can you talk about networking versus compute? Were they both supply constrained in the July quarter, and are they both sequentially growing in the October quarter?
So within our Q2 results, we have been continuing to improve our supply for networking. We have a lot of important products that the CSP needs, many of our customers needs, and we have been working to really improve that supply. And we were able to set very strong growth in terms of networking, both sequentially and year over year. And as we move into the next quarter, we're going to have to see which is going to be growth larger. We're just going to have to take a look once we finish that quarter. But our supply for our compute is here. But as we've discussed, sometimes it's important that they have many of our other components that we provide in networking at the same time that we are providing the GPUs. So sometimes those are very important for us to deliver together. So we always have to keep that in mind. So it's not always a supply constraint, but there are certain parts of it that are.
Your next question will come from the line of Joseph Moore with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Great, thank you. I wanted to ask, why did the supply constraints hit you guys so hard this quarter? I mean, you've done such a great job the last couple of years outgrowing really everybody in a very challenging supply chain environment. It hasn't tripped you up at all, and it seems like now it's kind of hitting you fairly hard at a time when in other cases it's kind of easing. So I'm just kind of curious, what is it about the timing, and how long does it sort of take? Is that a Hopper issue? Is it related to other components? As you talked about, how long does it take to clear those issues up? Thank you.
Let me start and see if Jensen wants to add on to it. Our execution has absolutely been phenomenal. When we think about the challenges of we're almost putting together a full data center for our customers and getting it shipped out. So we're no different in the same way that the CSPs are challenging with setting up their data centers, as we're such an integral part of that. And so networking has been short of supply. These are the same supply issues that some of our CSPs are having. So our supply arrived a little bit late in the quarter for some of our key products that we needed to get out. And putting that together caused some disruption in our logistics and distribution. We were pleased in terms of reaching the levels of networking that we did, but we did have some challenges this quarter.
Your next question will come from the line of Stacy Rasgon with Bernstein. Your line is open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my question. I wanted to go back to that data center inventory charge. You listed data center first when you talked primarily related to data center and gaming. Can you give us a feeling for how much of that charge was data center versus gaming? And then to follow up on that, it did sound like to me that it was mostly Ampere and not Hopper change in expectations. Can you verify that or clarify it? And just talk about what's happened with your expectations for Hopper. Have they gone up or down, or has there been any change at all relevant to that inventory charge?
Yes, Stacy. Regarding our inventory charges that we had, when you think about what we have in supply, whether it be chips, components, whether it be memory, remember a lot of these things can be used interchangeably across the two. Additionally, the value of our inventory for data center is much different than the value of what we have for gaming from an overall cost perspective. So we're creating capacity opportunities, putting together all of those systems in terms of data center. It is prior architectures. Absolutely, this is not a question regarding anything of our future products coming to market. Nothing on the inventory provisions has to do with that. So we took this as looking at the macroeconomic conditions as we've discussed. Our expectations, our plans were higher. They're still quite solid that we see in demand both for gaming as well as solid for data center, and that will continue. But we did have to just take a right sizing of that inventory.
Was designed for transformers. New transformers was going to be important. Nobody could have predicted the profound importance of large language models. Large language models, excitement, innovation, ideas, companies, startups, industries, all exceeding everyone's expectations. I don't think anybody could have predicted the impact of transformers as it scaled up to these giant sizes. There's a fair amount of literature now written about language models that were small-ish in the old days, in the beginning, several years ago, 3 years ago, and the ones that are in the hundreds of billions and moving towards probably several trillion parameters. The effectiveness of the AI is really quite spectacular, and to have AI that was never trained on a particular skill, and yet within one shot of trying, or even no shots, are able to perform that skill is beyond anybody's expectations, I would think. And so I think if the success of Hopper reflects the amount of work and pent-up demand for large training systems that Hopper's going to go into. If that's an indicator, I think Hopper's going to be a spectacular success.
Your next question will come from the line of Srini Pajjuri with SMBC Nikko. Your line is open.
Thank you. I have a question on gross margins, Colette. The 65% non-GAAP number you're guiding to, does that include or assume any additional write-offs on the inventory front? And then just to expand on that, your mix is probably a tailwind to gross margins, given that gaming is down significantly and data center is up a little bit. And I'm just wondering, are there any other offsets? Because I would have thought gross margins could actually be better than your longer-term model because of the mix tailwinds. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So our gross margins outside of the inventory charges in Q2, as well as going into Q3, is really about our sales mix that we have. And probably also to understand that our sales mix in the next quarter for GPUs is not in the high end. And so that has impacted our gross margins as we move into Q3. You're correct. We do expect that data center will assist in our gross margins, but we also have growth planned in auto. Auto is below our company average, and so that will tend to offset some of those upper bound things that we will see in terms of data center. From time to time, there's always a small amount of scraps that we will have in our gross margin estimates. So nothing material is planned, but there is small scraps that may occur from quarter to quarter that are included in our gross margins.
Your next question will come from the line of Timothy Arcuri with UBS. Your line is open.
Thanks a lot. Colette, I had a clarification and then a question. So my clarification is whether October gross margins are benefiting at all from the sale of previously written down inventory. And then my question is whether you can give us the enterprise cloud split in data center, because it sounds like the mix shifted more toward enterprise in July. And I think investors might want to see that as risky in the face of enterprise, clearly slowing. So I'm wondering if you can give us that. Thanks.
Okay. No, there's nothing in our Q3 regarding those inventory provisions that we took in terms of earning that back in terms of our Q3. Regarding our split between our hyperscalers and data centers and what we refer to as our vertical industries, they always tend to be about the same, 50% for one, 50% for the others. They're still in about that range. We had discussed that our China hyperscalers did not drive growth in terms of sequentially here. And so that did influence in terms of the hyperscalers, but still we are approximately in that 50-50%.
Your next question will come from the line of Harlan Sur with JP Morgan. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. On the weakness in ProViz, this is an enterprise-focused business, right? Granted, it's a somewhat narrow vertical market, but it does sort of play into the market concerns that consumer is weak now, enterprise is the next shoe to drop. So is the decline in ProViz attributed to enterprise spending weakness, or is there some other dynamic? And why or why not is this not a leading indicator for your enterprise and vertical industry segments within your data center business?
So our pro visualization business, just in such a short time, they were in short supply and really trying to feed so much of the industry's desire to both refresh and attracted to the new RTX workstations that were there. We were fueling both mobile as well as desktops for that market and growing quite nicely. Remember, all of last year doubled the size of ProViz in 1 year. So right now, the OEMs are concentrating on their levels of inventory, want to make sure that they can get through that inventory. But keep in mind, very similar to our discussion on gaming, there is still solid demand. There is still solid demand. We just have to correct some of the inventory but we still see both the opportunities that we've created for the market for these to be longstanding. And your second question, remind me again?
Whether the broader enterprise market is going to be, the verticals are going to be affected by that. I would say, first of all, we don't know. Second of all, unlike our workstation business, our ProViz business, there's no installed base. Most of the ProViz sales tend to be upgrades or replacements from something that has our installed base of 3 or 4 or 5 years that people, whatever upgrade cycle they happen to have. And so in the case of ProViz, the companies that are buying ProViz are ProViz systems likely already have systems that they've been using. And so if they were to tighten up ProViz for whatever reason, people could continue to use what they have. In the case of our AI business, there's no real install base. These are all brand new things that people are growing into, and the productivity benefits or the cost savings benefits of using autonomous systems is fairly profound. And it's not so much that the demand isn't out there. Everybody would like to be more productive. Everybody would like to save more money. Everybody would like to move faster. It's just that AI's understanding and AI's use is still spreading. And so we're delighted by the rate of growth and the rate of adoption of enterprise. My sense is that our AI business and our ProViz business have very different characteristics for that reason. But what Colette said earlier is about our ProViz businesses last quarter is absolutely true, which is OEMs realizing that the end market is slowing and taking the opportunity to correct their inventory.
Your final question will come from the line of Ross Seymour with Deutsche Bank. Your line is open.
Hey guys, thanks for letting me ask a question. I just had a longer term question about once your gaming business normalizes, with the absence of crypto in a general sense and with the merge coming, et cetera, how do you view the pricing environment? I know you guys really weren't raising prices like we saw in the MSRP premiums in the aftermarket, but generally your mix was quite rich over the last year or two. You're going to have Lovelace coming in. That'll obviously help the mix sequentially versus the last couple quarters. But how do you think about it normalizing? It's that 2.5 billion per quarter sell-through rate comes. Is the ASP mix across your stack about the same, or does it go down because of the absence of that crypto tightening dynamic?
I would say that without crypto dynamic, the mix would go down. However, the overall trend long term, the ASP is drifting up. And the way to think about that is a game console. My first game console was $99. Lately, game consoles are selling for about $599, and the reason for that is because it's more useful than ever. You use your game console for your greatest form of entertainment, and you use it for a very, very long time. And GeForce essentially is a game console inside your PC, and we've always believed that the ASP of GeForce should drift towards the average selling price of a game console. And so it should be something along the lines of $500 or so, roughly at this time. We also have GeForce in the cloud, and because GeForce in the cloud is hosting many gamers simultaneously, it tends to want to be a much more powerful GeForce, and so our cloud gaming GeForce tends to be, our cloud gaming graphics tends to be much higher end, and then of course there's the design aspect of it. Most designers and most creators are able to use GeForce these days, and they use their PC to create content, and much of that content goes into video games, or they're using video games to create their artistic content, and so the GeForce is not just for gaming for them. The GeForce is essentially their creative workstation as well. And so there are several dynamics that are causing the ASP of GeForce to go up. And we've been seeing this trend for several years now.
Thank you. I will now turn the call back over to Jensen for closing remarks.
Bull or bear on NVIDIA after this earnings call, guys?
Everyone, navigating our supply chain transitions in a challenging macro environment. In gaming, our partners and ecosystem are responding to a sudden slowdown in consumer demand and correcting channel inventory. Still, the fundamentals of gaming are strong. We'll get through this over the next few months and go into next year with our new architecture. I look forward to telling you more about it at GTC next month. In data center, AI, where computers are helping us write software that was impossible before, is driving a computing revolution and transforming every industry. NVIDIA's leadership in full stack, data center scale, accelerated computing has made us the ideal partner for companies racing to leverage the power of AI. Even with the current macroeconomic headwinds, demand for our data center products have never been stronger. The next wave of computing is coming. With AI and 3D graphics advances, developers will extend the internet with virtual world overlays that connect to the physical world. This next evolution of the internet is called metaverse. We created Omniverse to connect the digital and physical world and be an open platform for creating and operating metaverse applications. The immediate applications for Omniverse span product design, manufacturing, and operations. Omniverse is off to a great start. Our automotive revenue is inflecting, and we expect it to be our next billion-dollar business. Autonomous driving is one of the biggest challenges AI can solve, and computing opportunity for us spans the data center to the car. Autonomous driving will transform the auto industry into a tech industry. Automotive is one of the first to transform into a software-defined tech industry, but all industries will be. We're building NVIDIA AI and NVIDIA Omniverse to be the engines for the world's enterprise to become software-defined, AI-powered technology companies. I look forward to next month's GTC conference, where we will share new advances of RTX, reinventing 3D graphics and gaming, AI's continuing breakthroughs, and building the metaverse, the next evolution of the internet. So join us. We look forward to updating you on our progress next quarter. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that is the NVIDIA earnings call. Listen, guys, we're going to be watching to see what NVIDIA does tomorrow morning, bright and early. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow watching the Bed Bath Beyond saga, watching the NVIDIA reaction to the opening bell tomorrow morning, watching Intel, Snapchat, the Cube, the Spy. We trade a $30,000 account with $120K in buying power. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good luck today, guys. Hope you guys are making money. Again, I think the big question mark for NVIDIA is like ETH merge. You know, ETH merge, proof of stake going bye-bye for Ethereum. And with that, or proof of work going bye-bye for Ethereum, miners going bye-bye for Ethereum. There's still going to be Bitcoin miners, but for ETH, that's going to be a huge chunk of the crypto market that is no longer using NVIDIA for mining. I think that is the biggest question mark for NVIDIA moving into the next quarter and beyond. The ETH merge is set for right now. If you look at when merge, I'll post this link. It is set for 19 days, 12 hours from now. And so if you want to kind of follow when the ETH merge is going to be, there's the link. Check it out. Will NVIDIA bounce? I don't know. I hope so. I'm an NVIDIA bull. But again, I do have some skepticism regarding future outlook and quarters. So we'll see what happens. Good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate the support from Pawn, SPAC. Y'all are the realest, guys. We appreciate you guys. Everybody thank Pawn and SPAC for helping me out run these channels and the stream. And yeah, good luck, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early. Tesla split tomorrow morning, guys. We'll be here bright and early. Hit the sub button. Goodbye.